Greetings, hi, this is Todd Boyam, and hey, I wanted to come to you today. I'm having to slow down a little bit and get Sky the puppy because she decided that this was a good toy to eat, but it's really not. That's what she wanted to do. That was her plan for the new year. Was hoping to hear about your plans for the new year, friend, um, after I rescued that. So I have a tip to share for you, some exciting news. Wanted to kind of share that, bring that out to the page. Um, my first thing I wanted to know about for you was how was it today? Were you stressed to get back into the swing of things? Were you excited? Maybe a combination of both. Maybe some other emotion. Let me know. Tell me about it down below. Like, let's have a dialogue here. Let's not just make me talk at you. That's what I'd really like to do. And one of the things I wanted to share with you before I get to this tip that I want to share today about how to have an interesting way to really kick off your new year um, is that I'm excited that part of my plan for the new year is to start to come and share some tips with you guys and interact with you online daily. And I'm going to start that tomorrow at 12 noon. So it's going to be a regular time. So that way you kind of know about it. You know, it's kind of think about it as your 5-10 minute lunch break. Get some ideas, some excitement, have some dialogue with me. Uh, and if you can make it, would love to have you anytime. But I'm going to do that daily, Monday through Friday, starting tomorrow on the 7th. So and that's going to be on my Facebook page, not on my normal, personal timeline. So all you guys on my personal timeline that don't want to hear from me on anything about personal development, and that's fine. You can ignore me. All of the other ones, please come over to my page and invite other people. I'd love to have you come. So let me know, how is this year going for you? Are you kind of easing into it a little bit? Are you kind of putting your toes in the water? Are you have you made a bunch of resolutions and you've got that going? Um, tell me about it. So I'm kind of starting the year with a fair amount of planning done, and a little bit more I'm going to do this week and get it going. But I was thinking about this whole issue because of something that occurred yesterday. A little bit of story I want to tell you about how faith really supersedes this. There's this scripture in the Bible in Hebrews. It says, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for and not seen." So you haven't seen it yet. If we already achieved it, if we've already accomplished it, it's in the past, then it's not faith, right? And so every time we're thinking about, moving forward, like in the beginning of a new year, we have to start it with faith, and we have to just make our decision. We have to listen to our heart. We have to listen to what God's telling us, and make a decision about what we're going to go, and then be diligent to put action around that faith. So faith precedes action, but you have to have the action to get it going. And so here's what made me think about this. Yesterday, we were at church, Cheryl and our pastor kicked off a new series on James. And if you don't know it, James is kind of a book about, it's a little, a little bit legalistic in a way. It was like a little bit about doing more than faith sometimes. But it really is about faith, and that was kind of the point he was making. But he is a very interactive preacher, and so normally he's interacting with the audience, they're interacting with him, and they are very used to interacting with him. And so he starts off by telling us that he had visited a website that had statistics on the types of things that people make for New Year's resolutions. And so I don't remember what it was. I think 60% of people have some kind of health goal, working out or getting in shape or losing weight, something like that, in their New Year's resolution. And so he goes, well, how many of us here have that as a goal? And like nobody raises their hand, like 3 people out of like a huge group. And then later on he said another thing. He said, well, like 35% of people have some kind of knowledge goal or progression that involves personal development. And how many of you guys? And again, like 3 people in the audience. Nobody was playing. And I was thinking about that because it was very not typical, right? Normally the audience interacts with them a lot. And I think it's because everybody knows that your New Year's resolutions goals, everybody's been told like 90% of the time, New Year's resolutions are dropped within the first month. And so if you're going to ask me, I'm not going to raise my hands because, I'm probably not going to keep it. And so right off the bat, you're basically having no faith. You're basically, and listen, I didn't raise my hand either, so I'm not throwing rocks at anybody. It's just an observation that we don't necessarily want to put that out there. And so he shared a couple of other things like in those health goals, only like 1% of those people will hire nutritionists, and only a handful will get a personal, a coach that helps them work out and stuff. And so, how serious are they anyway? So, what is it about New Year's resolutions that keeps us getting forward? So, I don't know if you have any, but surely you're going to make some kind of forward progress this year. You have some kind of plan you're trying to make. So, how will you be able to get past this thing that we do where we think we're going to go do something, but then we don't go do it? So I have 5 ideas for you on that, and that's really what I want to talk to you about. So the first one is, don't start with a resolution. Don't stop there. Convert it from a resolution to a plan. And a plan has, many actions. It says, to get to that, I've got to do A, B, C, and D, and I got to do them at this time and in this order. There's more to it than just, I'm going to lose, 10 pounds. If you just said that, it's an idea. It's not even really a goal, right? And so, to convert this sort of resolution, you have to really say, here's some actions I'm going to take. So that's the first thing, is convert it to a plan. That includes elements of what it is and when it's going to happen, but it includes some other elements. It includes what you might call process control aspects of the plan. And so those might be things like, when am I going to track it? How am I going to track it? How can I track it in a way that doesn't demotivate me, right? How can I? What kind of elements of my plan am I going to put in to work on my motivation, to make it fun, to make it exciting, to celebrate it when I succeed, right? Those kinds of process control steps need to be put in too. So I need to convert it to a plan, and that plan needs to include how I'm going to manage and control the process as I go through it. So one of the things you can put into a process control step is support. And this can be peer support, like this is, I'm going to go work out with a buddy, or, I'm going to, ask someone else to kind of just call me and check in on me, or I'm going to meet with a group of friends about how well we're succeeding each week. Or I might, hire a personal coach, right? And that could be, it doesn't have to just be like a workout coach. It can be a career coach, the kind of things that I do, personal development and moving people forward. So there's always a way to bring other people into the process control step and have them support you with, insight, encouragement, pushing you a little. That's what coaches do. And so adding some people aspects and some support into your process control steps is tip number 3. So then tip 4 is to track your actions as well as your results. So here's what we do. We go, I want to lose, 25 pounds. And then, 2 or 3 days in, we get on the scale and maybe we lost a few, but then the next couple of days we're up a few. And so we kind of get demotivated because we're just tracking the result. But the problem is that results are complicated. There's a lot of reasons why you might not be making that result happen at the speed you expect. And so a lot of times people will call that a lag indicator. You get that result at the end, but meantime you're losing motivation on your way there. And so a way to overcome that is to track lead indicators, or the action steps themselves. And so, you know that if you're going to lose 20 pounds, you're going to, eat better, you're going to maybe work out, maybe you're going to get better sleep, There's a variety of steps you're going to do, and you can track if you're doing those. And those you have complete control over. You're either doing them or you're not. So, if you're tracking your lead indicators, you can see your progress. Even if you don't quite hit the result at the same speed that you want, you're still going to be healthier. You're still going to be on your route. And you can still see that you're being successful to what you plan to do, even if the result takes a little bit longer to get to. And so it's, less demotivating and more motivating. So, that's the fourth tip, is to track your actions. Yeah, go ahead and track for the results too. Keep an eye on them, but track primarily your actions towards that result instead. And then the last one is to think habit instead of project. And so here's what we do with resolutions. We go, I'm going to be on this resolution for the next 2 months. I'm going to lose this weight or whatever. And then, we run our project and then we get done, and then we just kind of move on and we forget about it. And all of the gains we met get lost. And so, see, a project has a beginning and an end. And so our mind thinks begin and end. Whereas a habit is something I'm going to do on an ongoing basis. And so to think about using the project you're doing at this point in time with the idea of it being the start of a continuing ongoing habit is way more powerful, because if you use that project and you get into eating better and you get into working out, you get into doing the new behavior that you want, whatever that is, then you have an ongoing habit, and that's more powerful than the project itself. So that's sort of tip 5. So, convert your resolution to a plan. Make sure that plan has process controls that include support. Make sure you're tracking actions as well as results, and think habit versus project. So there you go. That's what I have for you. 2 things. 1, remember, 12 o'clock daily lives with a few tips like this, 10 minutes long, maybe shorter. And the other thing I want to point out is that I have, like I said, I'm a coach and I help people with this. And right now is that kind of time where people are getting their plans together. And so maybe you have yours, maybe you've got the ideas of it, but not really the plan of it. One of the things I'm doing is working with quite a few people on how to really get a much more concrete plan and execution strategy for their actions. And so if you need some help with that, I have a special offer for 8 people. So in January, I managed to kind of find time in my plan to sponsor 8 free coaching sessions. And they're completely free. They're non-obligatory. There's no sales pressure, nothing like that. It's just a coaching session. So if you would like to have me help you a little bit during this time, kind of help you think through, build your plan, get it more solid, I'd be happy to do that free of charge for the first 8 people that ask. So right now I have 8 sessions. As I talk about it over the next several days, I'll kind of give you guys an update on how that goes. But that's what I'm really looking for, is 8 people that I can support in January free of charge. If we meet and you get help and you want to talk to me about doing something else, that's great. That's on you. But there's no obligation to it. So don't worry about that. Don't feel like it's a trap or anything like that. It's not. It's just a free offer. I'd love to be helpful to you, so please let me know. And I hope you have a great day and you're really kicking off your year and your decade with excitement. Go get it done. Take care.